Hello everyone, and welcome to Designing Characters, where I explain turning characters from my mind and other media into characters for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Here, we focus on builds and personality traits, utilizing standard array or point buy with D&D Beyond's layout. Let me know what character build or video you'd like to see next in the comments below. I read them all and I reply to as many as I can. Today we're working on Dabi, a member of the League of Villains from My Hero Academia, an anime that I highly recommend to anyone that hasn't seen it yet. Ironically cold and calculating on the surface, but also a bit, unstable? But he's a hell of a dancer.
You're not what we need.
Now, what do we need for our blue burnin' boy? First, you need to unleash a torrent of flames and destruction on call, enough firepower to even outpace your pops in a direct clash. Second, we need a degree of skill in stealth and investigation to gather evidence and create long-term plans to ruin the world's entire balance. Finally, we need to be able to psychologically attack your opponents with brutal fear and attempts to chip away at their morals and perceptions, throwing them off in the midst of battle, also shaking the faith of the entire world as a bonus. For your ability scores, we're going to put your 15 in Constitution and 13 in Dexterity. You have tremendous raw durability, and the ability to endure your own magic burning you constantly, alongside inhuman reflexes. Next, your 14 is going into Charisma, and 12 in Intelligence, with the final 10 in Wisdom. You're quick thinking, tactical, and have great patience, with a powerful drive and personality that rivals the level of a Zealot. Finally, your 8 will go in Strength. You're not seen as especially strong physically, and half your body being covered in burns tends to limit your physical abilities just a bit. Now for race, you're technically human, but for this we're going to add a bit of flair for the roleplay. We're taking half-elf, but ask your DM about being a half-aquatic elf or half-triton using the half-elf stat block, representing your mother giving you a body associated with the cold instead of the heat. Half-elves gain a +2 to Charisma for a 16 total, and a +1 to Dexterity and Constitution for a total of 14 and 16. This also grants you 60 feet of dark vision and Fey Ancestry, rendering you immune to sleep and granting advantage to saving throws made against charm effects. You also gain 2 additional proficiencies. Take Acrobatics and Athletics, representing the training that your father put you through and help balance out your subpar physical stats just a bit. Finally, you get a bonus language. Take Primordial, representing your mother's heritage just a bit more. For your background, you were raised in a household of knights. Your father was a lesser noble vying for the position as head of the city. He was a Grand Master of fire magic and a natural affinity for evocation due to the golden dragon blood running through his veins. However, no matter what he did, he was unable to outpace the magical bloodlines of the ruling house. In desperation, he made a political marriage with a family of Tritons, hoping to balance out his own weaknesses with their strengths. Assessing that his child would surpass the house in the next generation instead, you were raised to be the hope of the family. You held incredible natural talent for magic, and the mixture of magical blood made you a force to be reckoned with. Yet your biology interfered with your own powerful evocation flame-based magic. Your own magic began to harm you, and your parents panicked, trying to persuade you to stop and that another era would take your place, unintentionally being cruel with their desperate desire to protect you, as your dreams were crushed by the very people whom gave it to you. You trained in secret, forcing yourself to prove them wrong with the desire to prove yourself better than all of them. Until one day, in an emotional outburst, you unleashed your magic to its peak, and in that fit of frustration, your parents' refusal to acknowledge your growth came to a head. Your own magic maimed you, permanently. Following this, you were taken in by another force, a powerful criminal that nurtured and eased the burns decorating your body, giving you a new goal, explaining the twisted society of nobility and what had pushed your family so far. With a new goal in mind, you fell in line with your new teacher, and he taught you of the darker side of the world, and how you could still grow. With this, we're taking the variant criminal background. You gain proficiency in stealth and investigation to represent your ability to analyze a situation and gather information as needed. You also get proficiency in thieves' tools for your numerous break-ins and a language. Take Undercommon to represent your knowledge of shadier communications. If your DM is alright with it, take Thieves' Cant, as it would fit a little bit better here. Finally, you gain the background feature of a criminal contact, allowing you to acquire information through a criminal network with greater ease than normal. Finally, into the meat of the build with class, we're starting out with Sorcerer. You were born with your magical power from a Draconic Bloodline and an affinity for flame. This grants you a d6 hit die and proficiencies in daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows. None of which matter for us here. You also gain proficiency in the Deception and Intimidation skills alongside Charisma and Constitution saving throws. Next we get a Sorceress Origin. Take Draconic Bloodline and the Gold Dragon for your Draconic Ancestor, granting you a focus and fire-based spells. This grants you Draconic Resilience, granting you a bonus hit point every level and a natural armor class of 13 plus your dexterity modifier, basically giving you passive mage armor. Finally, the main benefit of a sorcerer is your spellcasting. For your 4 cantrips, take Control Flames, Create Bonfire, Dancing Lights, and of course, Firebolt. This will represent the variety of fire-based spells you have at your disposal for the manipulation and control of fire and light at will. For your 2 spells, take Burning Hands for a wide-range blast of flames and the Shield spell as a burst of flames rising up around your body to deflect an incoming attack. Second level sorcerers gain Fonts of Magic, granting sorcery points to replenish your spell slots for now, and that's it. You also gain an additional spell though. Take Absorb Elements to form a funnel of flames in order to absorb the damage from another elemental base with your own. Third level sorcerers gain Metamagic. Take Quicken Spell and Seeking Spell, allowing you to unleash a barrage of burning beams alongside a firebolt in a single turn to dominate the action economy in an explosion of heat and fire. For your spell, take Scorching Ray to release said concentrated beams of heat at will. 4th level sorcerers gain a feat. Take Elemental Adept and Fire to ensure the damage of your flames is always above average, and creatures that normally ignore your heat no longer get that option. This level, you also gain an additional cantrip and a spell. Take Prestidigitation to perform a variety of small effects based around manipulating your fire to burn away dirt and grime, a shower of sparks, and much more. Just read the spell, it's pretty extensive. Alongside this, take Misty Step for an explosion of flames around your body to propel you in a burst of speed. 5th level sorcerers gain a 3rd spell. Take Daylight. I'm kidding. Take Fireball and drop a blue nuke on an alleyway. Poor guys just wanted to be organized villains. 6th level Draconic sorcerers gain Fire Elemental Affinity, causing your fire spells to hit even harder than they already do, and this also grants you resistance to fire in return for a sorcery point for an hour. You also gain a 3rd level spell. Take Counterspell to weave a burst of flame in the midst of another caster's element, throwing off whatever they were attempting to perform. 7th level Draconic sorcerers gain a 4th level spell. Take Wall of Fire to stomp and form a cage of whirling blue flames around your prey. 8th level sorcerers gain an ability score improvement. Take a +2 to your charisma for a total of 18 now. This will improve all your spells across the board. You also gain an additional spell. Take Dimension Door and call on your ally to form a portal to teleport you away, or release an explosion of flames that disrupts the senses and allows you to flicker away before you're caught. Or, just form a fiery portal. 9th level sorcerers gain a 5th level spell. Take Immolation and give someone a very, very bad day. 10th level sorcerers gain another metamagic option. Take the Heightened spell to make it even less likely that your targets are going to be able to avoid the full wrath of your fireball. Along with this, take Minor Illusion for various minor effects to add to your intimidation. Things like amplifying your voice, causing your eyes to glow, and heat waves to rise off your body. For your spell, take Far Step to cause jets of flame to erupt around you, propelling you at impossible speeds through the battlefield, or to give chase to your prey. 11th level sorcerers gain a 6th level spell. Take Mass Suggestion for the moment when you set up a big plot reveal and change the course of the entire game with a simple suggestion and a strong deception check. 12th level sorcerers gain an ability score improvement. Take another +2 to cap out your charisma now at 20. That's it. More sorcery points though, I guess. 13th level sorcerers gain a final 7th level spell. Take Firestorm for the final big gun in your arsenal of firepower to drench an entire area in blue flames. Now, as your raw power has reached a peak, you have begun to dive into more underhanded means to reach your goals, learning how to manipulate the world, see through people's desires, and change their own morals and outlooks to turn society as a whole on its head. As such, we're going over to Bard. Level 1 Bards gain proficiency in light armor. Your leather coat fits that, but your Draconic AC is better anyway, so it doesn't matter. You also get an instrument, pick whatever you think fits the character you're building, and a skill. Take Insight, representing your growing ability to see through others in order to manipulate and change them. This also grants you Bardic Inspiration, allowing you to encourage your allies with a few short words or a twisted smile. You also gain additional spellcasting. For your cantrips, take Message as a radio to communicate with your allies, and Vicious Mockery for your harsh words throwing off your enemies at the same time you chuck a fireball at them through Quicken Spell. For your 4 spells, take Bane to turn the tides on your enemies, disheartening them and weakening their resolve. Dissonant Whispers will strike someone to their core and shut down their emotional state, and even send some fleeing in terror and regret. Featherfall will allow you to pull off the anime stunts of not being bothered when you are sent flying through the air, off a building, or off a tree, and just not care at all and float peacefully down or land perfectly somehow because anime juice is coursing through your blood. And finally, Fairy Fire will allow you to cloak a target in harmless flames, making it clear exactly where they are. Second level bards gain Songs of Rest, allowing you to pause a moment with your party and encourage them with your purpose to crush the society around you. You also gain an additional spell. Take Long Strider to play on that high-speed movement that every anime character seemingly has. Third level bards gain a college. Take the College of Eloquence, representing your incredible skill at manipulating the feelings and emotions of others for good, or in your case, ill. Give yourself advantage through a build-up of incredible evidence against society as a whole. Eloquence bards gain Silver Tongues, causing you to never roll lower than 10 on any persuasion, or more importantly, deception checks. And unsettling words allow you to roll an inspiration die and deduct it from the next saving throw that they make until the start of your next turn. Target an enemy and tear apart their morals and flaws in their ideologies, then throw a fireball at them while they're still unsettled. Combine this with your heightened magic for disadvantage and watch the bodies fly. You also gain expertise in 2 skills. Take Deception and Intimidation to maximize your ability to intimidate and confuse your enemies and allies alike. They don't even know your plan when it happens. Finally, you gain a 2nd level spell. Take Heat Metal to make the idiots in armor have a very bad day. 4th level bards gain a feat. Take Warcaster to ensure you don't lose concentration on your big spells, and to gain the ability to fling an extra spell each turn as a reaction for even more nuking potential. You also get a cantrip. Take Light to cloak an item in Harmless Fire to cast light for those around you without dark vision. You also gain a 2nd level spell. Take Enhance Ability to represent that anime ability to suddenly just be better at something out of nowhere. 5th level bards become Fonts of Inspiration, regaining your inspiration die after every long or short rest now. You also gain another spell. Take Dispel Magic to throw your flames into a whirlwind, devastating the magical effects of other casters. 6th level bards get Counter Charm to minimize the chances of your party falling under the charms and ideals of the shining heroes in your way. Along with this, you gain 2 features. Unfailing Inspiration causes individuals that use your inspiration and then fail the roll to keep that inspiration for later. Meaning when Toga uses hers and misses her sneak attack, she can still keep the die at least even though her actual attack missed. You also gain Universal Speech, allowing you to cause creatures equal to your Charisma modifier within 20 feet of you of your choice to understand you for the next hour, regardless of languages used. Important when you need to address a camera to convince the entire world of, something. You also gain an additional 3rd level spell. Take Sending in order to have a long-range communication with your allies. Finally, at our 20th level capstone, 7th level bards gain a 4th level spell. Take Confusion for when you make a grand reveal and several of those in the battle are sent into shell shock, thus greatly slowing their reactions or sometimes just causing them to sit there and do nothing like an idiot despite being a pro hero, which is exactly what you'd want and entirely understandable for the circumstance. Now with all this said, how good is our Burning Boy? First off, you have raw damage potential out the wazoo. You're capable of dominating the action economy each round with a spell and a cantrip using Quicken Spell to just devastate the landscape. Second, your ability to control the battlefield and maintain your own mobility is excellent through the usage of your teleportation spells and various drawbacks your spells with mental effects cause their targets to incite panic, confusion, disadvantage, or just penalties to the rolls outright. Finally, you have excellent skills, all things considered, lacking any knowledge skills, but covering social situations with ease, as well as holding decent utility and physical skills, providing you with a solid out-of-combat roleplay opportunity. Even the skills you aren't great at are half-decent due to Jack of all trades. That said, you're not flawless, just like all your partners. Though you're not as fragile as most casters, you're still just over 160 fixed hit points. This puts you out of range of most nasty spells, but only until you take a hit or two. Second, as with many of these anime builds, your saving throws are pretty subpar, especially important ones such as Wisdom and Dexterity. Even your Intelligence is pretty bad, which can open you up as an easy target to a lot of nasty effects. But at least you won't be losing concentration easily with your high con save and advantage. And finally, though you have a few options for psychic damage, which is rarely resisted, your entire build is focused on fire damage, which is one of the most commonly resisted damage types in the game. Your various affinity features and feats helps to negate that, but it's also the most common damage type that monsters are immune to, and nothing you can do will help there, thus taking away your big guns in most instances, forcing you to rely on your psychic damage, which doesn't get several of your bonuses and are all pretty low level, though you can scale them up, but it's just not preferable. But you know your weaknesses. You were forced to face them from a young age, and it's what broke you. Accept them and move past them. If you're in a fight against someone that ignores your flames, then focus on mobility and debuffing the enemies to control the fight and give your allies advantage to cut down your enemies instead. Your goals are too grand to be held back by something as simple as the fire you hate so much. As always, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop it a like, subscribe for more, hit the little bell, and please leave a comment on anything you liked about the build or what you'd like to see in the next video. I do videos on Dungeons & Dragons as well as my own world once to twice a week. I'd like to thank all my patrons, but especially my two platinum patrons, Crom and SPS. Your donations mean the world to me. If you'd like to join them, there's a link in the description below to my Patreon. Patrons get to vote on the videos that I do and have access to various variant rules, homebrew supplement systems, items, spells, and so forth that are over there. You can also talk with me and my community in Discord to learn about my D&D supplements and a literate roleplay board I run for my world. Have an amazing day, everyone. Be safe. Love each other. Goodbye.